Hey Beauts, welcome to Pretty Scary, the channel where I bring you budget-friendly, easy-to-follow tutorials to turn you into anyone or anything that you like. Subscribe to be part of the beautiful weirdo family, and today I am bringing you Annabelle. So the first thing you want to do is to block out your eyebrows. I've shown you this a few times before, so you don't need to see that. I will link below a video to how to block out your brows. Then what you want to do is cover your face in just a normal foundation, but quite a thick foundation to kind of make your skin look a little bit unreal. Now I am using a dark cream concealer to create some texture and a kind of dirty grungy effect on the skin, because Annabelle is not a clean, pristine looking doll. So I have just taken a natural sponge. If you don't have a natural sponge, you can just use a latex sponge and pull some holes into it to create some texture. And what you want to do is just stipple that colour all over the face and then blend it slightly so that it's not too stark. I used a couple of different shades of brown to create the texture that I wanted. Once you're happy that you're looking dirty enough, you want to powder that to set it, because it is cream makeup and you will be shading on top. So powder and dust off the excess. And then what you want to do is take a nice shadow shade. I'm using a deep kind of taupey brown kind of colour, and just taking a flat, slightly fluffy brush, I'm just mapping out the areas of shading on Annabelle's face. If you look at reference photographs of Annabelle, she does have some really kind of severe structured contour lines which give her this really weird sort of evil smile that she's got. So keep referring back to photographs of her to map out the contours properly. I'm also mapping out a nice little thin doll-like nose. And then going back to that really weird smile, she's kind of got this really deep kind of groove underneath her mouth, so you want to just map that out as well. And also map out the eyes, because what you're wanting to create are some really big doll-like eyes. You'll see a bit more detail on that later in the tutorial. Now what you want to do is just pick up a clean fluffy brush and just blend those areas to start building up your nice shadows. There is a lot of back and forth with building up the shading in this tutorial, because what you're wanting to do is create gradients of shadow so that it gives it a kind of a natural shaded effect, so it looks really 3D rather than just kind of drawing lines on your face. So you'll see me going back and forth a lot with the shading, but I've tried to kind of speed bits up and just show you the relevant bits so you're not sat for hours and hours watching me shade my face. Well, it doesn't quite take hours and hours, but you get the picture. Anyway, I decided to draw in the lips at this stage because I wanted a kind of an anchor point. I quite often do this with makeups and I find it's really helpful, to have an anchor point in your makeup. So I choose whichever feature is the most standout feature and I draw that in, so I've got something to anchor the rest of the makeup around. Now when I was editing this video, I noticed that I kept practicing the creepy Annabelle smile, so you will see this pop up a lot during this video. So if you are over 18 and you like a drink, you could always use this video as a drinking game and take a shot every time you see me do the creepy Annabelle face, which will be a lot. Anyway, incidentally, I use NYX Cherry Skies for the lip colour because that seemed to be the closest matched to her actual lip colour. And you can see now I'm just building on those shadows. So basically using that same shade you saw earlier, I'm just basically going back over the shadows and then reblending to kind of create depth and like a gradient shadow, like I said earlier. And what you'll also want to do is, once you've got your first set of shadows in place, go in with a thinner brush to start building up the deeper end of the gradient. Hope that makes sense. Keep going back to your reference photograph as well, so you can make sure that you're getting the shadows in the right places. There we go, there's another creepy Annabelle face. Right, now going in with a big fluffy brush, and I'm starting to contour the sides of the face to create that doll-like smile. And then I decided to go onto the eyes. Now taking NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, I'm just lining the waterline and underneath the eyes, and you'll see why I'm going underneath the eyes in a moment. Just smudging that with a cotton bud so that it's nice and even. So Annabelle's got really big round eyes, a lot bigger and rounder than normal human eyes, so what you're wanting to do is kind of recreate that. So once you've set that white milk pencil with some white eyeshadow or some face powder, what you want to do is go in with your shading colour underneath to create a new lower lash line. Now I'm also shading the lids with the same colour because what I want to do is to create the illusion that when the eyes are open, that's part of the upper lash line rather than my actual eyelid, if you see what I'm saying. And to further create this illusion, I'm drawing the lashes actually on my brow bone, and I'm drawing those in first of all with that same shading colour, and I'll be going over those in black later. But it's a really good idea to map out eyelashes, eyebrows, things like that with the shading colour first, because it's far easier to clean up if you go wrong. So you can see there I just mapped out the brows, which can be quite difficult to get. You need a steady hand and you need to make sure they're symmetrical. So lean your elbow on a hard surface and just go for it. Just be kind of, you know, really confident with it, and that's the easiest way to get a nice sharp line. Now you can see I'm just going over those lashes and the brows with that black liquid pen liner. You can use face paint if you don't have a pen liner or an eyeliner. And then I'm just going in with the shading to create more of that doll-like look. I've created a new inner corner with the shading, and I'm just doing some smudgy shading underneath the eyes because it looked like she had a kind of a dirty under eye area too. And now I'm just shading in the jawline because she's got a very defined jawline too, which mine didn't resemble, so I decided to create one. And then also just making those cheeks look a bit more smiley because she has got this permanent kind of creepy smile on her face most of the time. And basically what you'll see me doing for the next part of the tutorial is just kind of working on that shading until I'm happy with it, building it up and blending it and just deepening certain areas. Best thing to do is just to keep standing back in the mirror to check your shading and keep going back to your reference photograph and just build it up as intense as you feel you want it. And I'm also using my actual real brows as the fake socket line. And now I've switched to an even smaller brush, which is almost like a lip brush, to really deepen the darkest part of those shadows. Then I decided I wanted to thicken up the brows a little because they were looking a little bit too thin. And I also decided to deepen up the lashes by using a really dark black waxed base face paint. Then I want to create those nice doll-like cheeks, so I'm using a really bright pink blusher by Barry M. You can use a blusher, or if you don't have a bright pink, how difficult is it to say that word? Pink blusher, you can always use a face paint or even a pink or red lipstick. Now, as you can see, I put some more lashes on because I realised I didn't have enough lashes on those scary doll eyes. And then I'm just intensifying that dirty look to her skin with some brown eyeshadow on that same sponge that I used earlier, because you will find that once you've gone in with all the shading, the texture that you applied first of all will lessen slightly because you've got the deeper shading against it, so it won't stand out as much, so you will just need to strengthen it up in areas. Now just creating the doll-like neck joint, and basically just doing it in the same way that I did the shading on the rest of the face. And finally, to really bring it to life, you want to highlight, and oh look, there's a little announcement there for you. Anyway, back to the highlighting. I'm using a cream paint because cream on top of face paint is really good for highlighting. So I'm just using a really pale flesh tone. You can use a white if you prefer, and I'm just highlighting all the high points of the face, just dabbing it on with a brush and then just blending with my finger. And you'll find that this will really bring it to life, really make it look 3D, and really kind of bring that shading to life too. Because with shade you need some light. And for a final little touch, I'm taking the NYX liquid liner in white and just applying some shine to the lips and to the brows. And then I decided that she wasn't quite grungy and dirty enough, so I used a speckling technique, just using a brow brush and dipping it in some very watered down face paint and just splattering it basically all over my face and all over my chest. Then I just popped on a wig and a white top with a red band round, and we are done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a massive thumbs up. I really appreciate the support. And if you haven't yet subscribed, why not? Annabelle is telling you you must subscribe to my channel. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all, love you all, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.